Hello and welcome to the Football Parliament podcast, your one stop destination for all your football debates, discussions, and opinions. We approach the summer transfer window, and the rumors are starting to heat up, with the biggest talents across Europe being linked to moves elsewhere. Thus, here at the Parliament today, I'm joined by Chirag and Vedant, and today we three are going to be discussing some of the biggest transfer rumors, transfer news, and give our opinions on the same. Before we start the podcast, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe to our channel. We are just a handful of subs away from hitting the 300 subscriber mark, so it would be a great motivation for the three of us and the entire team over here if you could subscribe to our channel and like this video. Let's get started. Chirag, how are you doing?
Doing great, mate. Vedant, what about you?
I'm
Predicting
really
again
fine.
on point.
Yeah.
Guys, if you
Villarreal
do
versus
not
Arsenal
know, go
2-1.
check our last video. Villarreal versus Arsenal. Both me and Palash predicted Arsenal to get the victory, but he predicted Villarreal victory with the exact same right scope. So yes, Vedant.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm an astrologist or something.
Enough of self promotion. Let's talk about the first big move. Chirag, which move do you think we should be starting the podcast with?
We should start with something that is almost certain and one of the biggest moves. That is David Alaba to Real Madrid. Uh, David Alaba became a free agent from Bayern Munich, and he is looking for the next big move in his career. That would be certainly at his prime, in his prime. And but the major problem he was having with all the clubs was that he was not able to get the wage demand, the exact wages he was demanding. No club was going to offer. And then comes to the rescue Real Madrid offering people like hell. And yes, Vedant, but being a Real fan, how do you take this move?
I think this move is a great one because firstly, our squad needs depth, and this guy can play at left back, at CDM, and at centre back. So he'll obviously provide us with that versatility which we require in our squad. Secondly, being Real Madrid aren't exactly fulfilling his wage demands because he wanted a 19 million wage, like a 19 million contract, but Real Madrid are settling for a 17 million, and instead they're giving him a signing bonus of 20 million to fulfill his demands. And yeah, let's see how it moves. I don't want another Bundesliga flop in Real Madrid.
No, just
Perez
talking
using
about
all the
his.
Super League money to, fulfill all these high wages,
Yes,
No,
talking
but
about the
expenditure.
Super League.
according to Fabrizio Romano, this deal was already done, and he had a, uh, I guess,
Verbal agreement.
agreement already. Yeah, verbal
Verbal agreement,
agreement
yes.
in February. So I don't think
Yeah,
ESL
but
money was
it's
used
not
here.
like it's not like they didn't know about ESL in the February. We know about it just a month back. But they knew about it since years. Anyway, let's
Yeah,
move to
but
the.
no, no, no,
Uh,
talking about the ESL
But
money.
the clubs didn't pay for it, right?
you never
uh,
know.
pe-
You
no,
never
no,
know. You
the
you
clubs did not. There were
you do
reports.
not you do not know these big details. Trust me. All of it
Yeah.
isn't reported.
But they have to be shown in the FFP rules, right? Sometimes has to be shown where they are paying from. They cannot put their oil money into that. And
Yeah.
also talking about the Super League, Perez came out in an interview and said we won't be able to afford Mbappe and Haaland or any one of those if we do not get that Super League money. So definitely he was going to transform Real with the money he was extra money he was going to get. And I am so happy that we are not getting into the Super League conversation again. Next, moving to someone who is going to replace David Alaba at Bayern Munich, and that is a confirmed deal. It has been official as well. It is the move of Upamecano, the most highly rated centre back right now, having the best potential, and he is moving to again Bayern Munich, buying the best players from Germany. So, what's your take, Palash?
I think it's not much of a debate. There's no doubt about Upamecano's ability. People often say that he would be one of the best defenders in the coming 5 to 10 years. But the bigger question here arises that Bayern Munich are getting Dayot Upamecano from a direct rival who have been the closest to Bayern in the Bundesliga since the past 2 to 3 years. Not just this, they've also getting their manager, which is Julian Nagelsmann. Apart from this, in the past, we've seen incidents such as moves directly from Borussia Dortmund to Bayern Munich, where uh, obviously both of them being direct rivals, players like Lewandowski, Mario Götze, Mats Hummels moving to direct rivals. So I don't know what to say about the Bundesliga. What are your thoughts, honestly, on such a league which, I don't know, lacks competitiveness or is practically becoming monopoly right now?
See, for me, currently, Leipzig saw its rise since the owners are from Red Bull, right? So they did see a rise, but I would appreciate them for the fact that last year also they did let go of some of the crucial players. For example, Timo Werner. They let go Timo Werner for at a stage when they were not they were in the semis of the UEFA Champions League, but still they managed to play so well. So I think Leipzig is going to do something, but we definitely know like Bayern is buying the whole German league. Any good talent in the whole German league, in any club you see, it will come go to Bayern one day. That is now certain. That is of no nothing you can do about that, and that is the reason I want Bayern and clubs to move into some bigger leagues where they will have competition from other teams and they won't let easy rivals go. As we will discuss in the in this video only further about the Premier League, you will not see any of the Premier League rivals selling their players to each other. And if it happens, the fans are
Not just
so
players,
frustrated.
managers as well.
Yeah, managers as well, except Jose Mourinho. But you will see that it happens so it will be a so big of a deal. Either it is just a 50 million deal, or it will be so big when some rival player moves from one place to another. So now moving on. Next we have his
Talking
Upamecano's
about
partner.
rivals,
Also, not
talking
to
about rivals
mention,
actually.
yeah, you suppose.
If you have something to say about this deal, then go ahead.
Yeah, I have something to say about this deal. Upamecano last season was really very good, and some of his key abilities are heading the ball really well, aerial duels, and certain clearances, which he's made in the Champions League and Bundesliga, important clearances which were highlighted. Also, about the monopoly, I just don't understand. First of all, why do Bayern buy players from their rivals, and why are these rival clubs like RB Leipzig and Borussia Dortmund so keen on selling their main players? We were
I'll
even
tell you the
hearing Erling
reason.
Haaland to
Just
Bayern
me, I would
Munich.
like to answer that. Actually, it's not particularly people actually give a lot of plaudits to club like Leipzig and Dortmund too for their business, but they're not necessarily wise every time. For example, in the case of Upamecano and Timo Werner, both of them, uh, they had release clauses, and once a club has a release clause for a player, and another club is willing to meet that release clause, then the selling club is powerless, and the entire decision is in the hand of the player. But
But you can
especially
have your contract negotiations any day of the
Yeah,
year. You can have your contract negotiations. You don't have to either increase their wages or something. You can just change the clause by sitting one day. And if
it's
see,
that's
we have
that's
exactly
many
what
not
Premier
even I
as
League
want
easy
to
clubs
as
say.
it sounds.
that are
While
changing.
the contract, it's not as easy as it sounds. While the contract, in fact, on this, it was I had quite a similar doubt that how are beyond just buying players from here and there, especially with the Upamecano deal. So I actually went on to message Fiago, which is the admin of Footy Base. He's a German fan as well. He's got quite a good page on Instagram, and that is when he told me. I think he's got like 325k followers and all, and that is when he told me about this release clause system and how, especially in the Upamecano deal, Leipzig as a club were powerless. They had to sell him to Bayern
No, I'll
because of
also
the
answer
worsening.
Vedant's question. First thing is that I read somewhere Borussia Dortmund owners or like the stakeholders, the rest of the stakeholders than the fans, what they generally do is they take money from the club rather than investing more. In Premier League, you will see owners are putting in their own money, but what Dortmund owners are taking that they are holding this club as a business. What they do is they are helping grooming talents. You will always see Dortmund has very good range of young talents, but whenever they sell them at high prices, and they do not spend all that money into something. Like last time also they got Thorgan Hazard and so many players lined up for them, so young players, but they did not invest so much on them, but they fulfill their own demands. Like it is more of a business for them. And for on player side as well, why won't you go to a Bayern to a club who is definitely winning your league every year, who is the best contenders for the league cup? They are certainly moving into a Champions League semi-finals at least every year. Why won't you go to a club of such status? And when you are getting so much high wages, what is something that will stop you to moving there? You will remain in the same country. So why? What is the hesitation to go there? I feel so. Now, next, moving on to the next topic, talking about Upamecano's partner Konate. Konate's deal to Liverpool is almost certain. Fabrizio Romano has given his signal that it is almost a done deal. Here we go, has been confirmed. How do you see that? To be honest, as a Premier League fan, I am scared. Virgil van Dijk and Konate together will be the worst thing any Premier League attacking side has to see.
Like I'm scared, excited as well because as much as I'm scared of Liverpool's defense now, also very excited to see Konate. But yeah, I think the previous season, one previous one, uh, Van Dijk alone handled the defense with an average
Exactly.
defensive partner in Joe Gomez. And now, if he's going to get Konate, who's probably one of the best young defenders in the world right now, they'd be a force to reckon with. And I really don't know how. This will probably also allow their fullbacks to play their system. Trent
Exactly.
Alexander-Arnold's defensive weakness might get covered, especially at Liverpool. Andy Robertson, he can go further on the pitch, and we know what the pairing of Robbo and Trent can do. And when
Exactly.
they will have, yeah,
So
it'll
see,
See,
earlier
but
what happened was
the key part y'all are missing about Ibrahim Konate is that at 100%, he's definitely one of the best youngster centre backs in the world. But the thing with him is that he's a bit of injury prone. In the last 2 years or so, he's been injured, I think, 5 or 6 times, keeping him out for months. So that's also a key part. Liverpool buying another injury prone centre back.
but Vedant, the main point here is that if they do not have Konate as well, the squad depth that they have, Joe Gomez in form of Kabak they bought this year only, and the youngsters they have, Williams and Riaz, like that is something to reckon. Any one
Hmm.
of them is not playing, it is a disaster for me. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold was not at all a good player defensively, not certainly not a good right back, right wing back. I can still agree on, but since Virgil van Dijk is in the team, he covers for Trent Alexander all the times. We know the downfall of Liverpool is due to injury of Virgil van Dijk, and so is Trent Alexander-Arnold not playing to at his best. And if you give someone like Konate to Andrew Robertson, I personally feel Andrew Robertson is a better fullback than Alexander Arnold, and he also
And
contributes in attack.
Andrew Robertson is way better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Plus, also not to mention Trent Alexander-Arnold in his youth days was a central midfielder.
Exactly, he has been pushed there because he has that unique right foot to put it in perfect crosses for definitely. So I feel
Yeah.
that would be a great battle, and according to me, the next year's Premier League will be a three-way battle between City, Liverpool, and Chelsea because all of them are improving considerably. Talking about Premier League, let's move on to Chelsea. Chelsea are looking for a striker like die-heartedly, and after that Werner miss, the rumors are all over again. First of all, I'll list some targets that Chelsea are going for. Obviously, it has to start with Erling Haaland if Chelsea do get the deal done, which is obviously the most difficult one to get over. Second is the most achievable target seems to be Romelu Lukaku. Third, Chelsea is going out of nowhere. They are going for Harry Kane. Yes, the Spurs team and Harry Kane who wants to win trophies. And next, out of move box is for a swap deal between Tammy Abraham and Ilianako, the guy who is firing at Leicester City and is one of the most informed players in the Premier League right now. So, Palash, being a Chelsea fan, who do you see Chelsea going for?
well, it's quite clear that the first priority is Erling Haaland with Romelu Lukaku as a cover for the same. But if, as a fan, if I had to make preferences, then see it's a win-win situation because I think Haaland, Lukaku, and Kane, these three are definitely among the top 10 strikers in the world. That's not up for debate. One could argue top five strikers in the world, or I would agree on top five strikers in the world. I think Haaland, Kane, Lukaku, along with probably Lewandowski and another striker, would constitute of the top five strikers in the world. So Chelsea clearly don't have anything to lose over here. It's a win-win situation. There are pros and cons everywhere. Uh, with Erling Haaland, the two biggest cons definitely come with the fact that he'll have extremely added pressure because of the way Timo Werner and Kai Havertz's first season has turned out, and his wage demands are an additional burden as well. So
Raiola
these
wants a
two
1 million contract, 1 million a week contract.
these two are, yeah. a very crazy wage demand. So these two are the biggest cons of Erling Haaland. But as we know, he is probably a generational striker. He's just 20 years of age. So this might look as the best option. Romelu Lukaku has already been a Chelsea player. He's proven. He's proven in the Serie A. He's physical. Uh, I think I wouldn't mind if we don't get Haaland and we get Romelu Lukaku. However, Fabrizio Romano recently commented. He didn't tweet it, so it didn't get as much attention, but he recently commented in one of his Instagram posts that Romelu Lukaku wants to stay at Milan, Inter Milan. So this might be a crisis over here as well. The latest news that we get is that Chelsea would love to have Harry Kane at the club, but who wouldn't? The thing is that will Daniel Levy sell him to a direct rival, because of which the move looks quite impractical. If I had to choose out of the three, I would go for Harry Kane because I think he's playing in the Premier League for a long time. He can score, he can assist. I think he's the most all-rounded striker in the world, and I would. He's a bit elder to the other two, but I would still go for Harry Kane. I think that he's got good 7-8 years in him.
And Vedant, like on the scale of 10, how will you rate the likeliness of all the three mentioned before?
Erling
Harry Kane.
Haaland's Borussia Dortmund. No, first I'll start with Haaland
Yeah,
because he's the number one target for Chelsea. Borussia Dortmund have valued Erling Haaland at least 150 million euros. Chelsea spent more than 300 million. Okay, yeah, the part where Chelsea can
200.
have the defense is 200 million.
Yeah, 206 to be
Okay,
precise.
206 million euros they spent last window. They need to recoup that money somehow. And Roman Abramovich is a mad businessman. So, yes, he can spend that much money on Haaland. But Dortmund are Borussia Dortmund are reluctant to sell him, firstly. And about Romelu Lukaku's move, as Fabrizio Romano, the guy we all trust, mentioned in a comment that Lukaku insists on staying in Inter Milan,
Staying.
so he won't be going either. And looking at Daniel Levy and his character, I don't think he's gonna sell Harry Kane to a direct rival. So
So
let's see what
I'll
happens
just
with Chelsea.
sum up all these three as a Chelsea fan rather. First of all, Erling Haaland, as Fabrizio Romano has said, this is the most difficult deal in the decade to crack by anyone. First of all, it is Raiola you have to deal with. Secondly, Haaland is having some insane demands. I also don't know why, but that guy is having insane demands. And talking about the Chelsea money, Chelsea has already recouped the 206 million. Rather, we have 207 million, 1 million extra by sales of Eden Hazard and Morata and many other small players that are not gone in recognition. And also, like next talking about Romelu Lukaku. See, I see Lukaku's desire to stay at Inter Milan because this year Antonio Conte has revolutionized the Inter squad. They have won after 11 years. They are going to be the champions of Italy, and now next move for him is going to be Champions League. The squad he has is a very good squad, and I think they should go for it. Next, talking about Harry Kane, if see Harry Kane has publicly came and said in an interview that he wants to win trophies, and at Spurs no one is going to win trophies for long. And Spurs need a proper revolutionization from beginning, like the way Chelsea had in the last year or last to last year when Eden Hazard left them. So I think Harry Kane's move out should be considered very well, and Erling Haaland to City looks more and more convincing. Talking about Haaland as an individual, where do you see the likeliness to for him to move? Vedant?
Real Madrid can't buy him because he's super expensive, and Florentino Perez has mentioned it in an interview that we can't buy the likes of Mbappe and Haaland. Barcelona can't buy them because of their 1 billion debt. Manchester United could be a likable target, but Roy Keane ended his father's career, so he's clearly said no. Manchester City could be an option for him, but Pep Guardiola in an interview said that we don't have the money to buy a striker. Although I don't believe him because he's the same guy who spent 1 billion on his squad. That's it.
I
Then
think
there's
City.
Bayern
I think
Munich.
City. So
Yeah, I
will he
think
stay
Man
back?
City.
Will he stay back this year
See, if I was Erling Haaland, I would choose to stay at Borussia Dortmund for another
and
year.
not play Champions League and not play Champions League?
Yeah, not play Champions League because Erling Haaland, this is his second season as a top player, and I think he needs to grow a bit more because his positioning and everything is really very good. But there are some factors where he needs to improve, where Kylian Mbappe outdoes him in certain factors. So he
So
should stay for
next
a
talking
season
of
and then go.
Next, talking about some very in a quick while, we'll cover some more transfers. First of all, there has been news and there has been concrete news that Philippe Coutinho has to move to is likely to move to Everton in a 30 million move. How do you guys see this move, Palash?
I would love to see Coutinho back in the Premier League. I think when he played in the Premier League, he was one of my favorite players. He literally had magic in his feet. Much like Hazard, different kind of players, but were the key players for their individual teams. His skill moves, his long shots, his free kicks, there was something that I really missed. And even though one could say that his loan move, especially the latter half at Bayern, would be a success, his start to the season at Barcelona could be a success, but the kind of player he was in the Premier League with Liverpool, I don't think. And now the fact that he's been linked to Everton, which are the
Merseyside
direct,
rival.
yeah. And it's not like even though Chelsea has sold Eden Hazard, Chelsea fans are still sympathetic for Hazard. They do not blame him for going to Real Madrid, even though we had transfer ban and all. He's still a club legend for us, but Coutinho is not quite the same. He's not exactly a snake for them, but they did not like how he was pushing for the move. In fact, initially when the two clubs could not uh, bridge the gap between the asking fee and the maximum the club could offer. Coutinho offered to pay that money from his own pocket. So this was how desperate he was to get move out of Anfield, and such factors definitely created this uh, a slight bit of hate in the hearts of Liverpool fans. So him moving to Everton, which one could say are a better club than Liverpool right now, would be a great move for him, the club, and for us Premier League fans.
Also, Carlo Ancelotti is a guy who can, build up the careers again. Look at James Rodriguez. His career
Definitely.
was literally going down the line, and Carlo
Calvert
Ancelotti came
Lewin.
as a savior. Yeah, even Dominic Calvert-Lewin for that matter. Carlo Ancelotti is the guy who can literally save your career. So
And
I think this
according to
move is
me,
feasible for Coutinho.
with Arsenal and Spurs moving towards the mud or going into the mud, a new top six potential candidates are coming up, and Everton definitely are one of the strong contenders to be called the next big six, to be named inside the next big six. And I definitely think with Coutinho and James as the midfield duo, they can do everything they want in their arena or in their league. Definitely. Now, next, talking about Varane. Varane is at Real Madrid before the Chelsea game. He was at the press conference. He was thrice asked about his contract renewal or his move out of the club. He just said, "I do not want to focus on that right now." And we all know, being fans of various clubs, that whenever a player says that, that definitely means he's not going to pen down a deal very soon, and a move could be seen out. I agree with what Varane goes, because he is currently in his prime and he's one of the best players, uh, the best defenders, definitely among the top five defenders in the world right now. And he is having competition from Alaba, Eder Militao, and many more centre backs at Real Madrid presently that he needs to overcome to play every year. Rather now moving to a prospect like Chelsea, where I know a very likely move is coming up. Spanish newspapers, very reliable newspapers, are showing that Chelsea are the front leaders in getting the Varane deal signed, or either he will go to Manchester United. The move to England would very much suit him, showing the physicality that guy possesses. And I really think Varane should move out of the club, and maybe a club like Chelsea, where he could replace, he could be a direct replacement to Thiago Silva, who would be moving in a year or two, would definitely suit him. Vedant.
I think Rafael Varane's move to the Premier League should happen, but the thing is, Florentino Perez doesn't let his players go in their prime. Rafael Varane is 28. Either Florentino Perez gives him a contract extension which states a better salary, a better demand. I mean, he's obviously going to demand a better contract, that's for sure, because whatever he's achieved at Real Madrid. And he's obviously, in my opinion, a club legend because he's been here for 10 years. At the age of 16, he subbed off Carlos Pepe and played against the likes of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And he's underappreciated because he's under Sergio Ramos' shadow, who's the best centre back of all time, in my opinion. So that's the reason why he wants to leave. Plus, the likes of Eder Militao and Nacho are performing really well. They performed well against Liverpool and Barcelona. So
And add
let's see what
Alaba to the
happens.
conversation.
Yeah, and I don't think Zinedine Zidane is going to play Alaba at centre back because, as far as I've seen David Alaba, he's not that promising at centre back. Rather, I would give him direct competition with Forlon, Mendy, or Casemiro.
See, talking about transfers, I think we are
I
done with
would
all
actually
the.
like to talk
Yeah,
about Arsenal. two
Yeah,
moves staying in London. Firstly, we'll talk about the smallest club of London, which is Tottenham
Arsenal.
Hotspur.
Oh, I thought Arsenal.
Tottenham, Tottenham, man, they haven't won anything in ages. So Tottenham, as we know, the manager position is vacant right now. With I think Rand Mason has been appointed as an interim manager. So they are being linked to a move for Ajax manager Erik ten Hag, which we popularly know as the manager that led the Ajax team to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Quite a good record in the Eredivisie, but we'll have to see if he moves to the Premier League, and if he does, how his record will be in a completely different league. And now moving to the biggest club of London, which is Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea are being linked to Atlanta fullback Gosens.
Ro- Rather, I saw a tweet from Fabrizio Romano yesterday only. Gozens is is in conversation with Leicester City, and that is a possible move that is going to happen more likely than a Chelsea getting that left back.
Leicester
Gozens,
City,
Uh,
yeah,
just
Leicester
to
City as
mention,
well.
Erik ten Hag has signed an extended contract as Ajax manager, which is a fresh blow to Spurs.
right now.
Yeah, it just came out 5 minutes back.
Oh, so definitely they are going for Maurizio Sarri then. Sarri is the only manager that
Maurizio
can help.
Sarri.
Yeah,
Even
and
Allegri
Chelsea,
is available.
but Allegri won't move to a club like Spurs. He rejected a move to Real Madrid before
Yeah,
Zinedine
he did.
Zidane, and he also rejected a move to Juventus before Totti was not Totti. Their club legend was appointed.
Pirlo.
Perlo was appointed.
Puello. Yeah.
So just summing up the whole video, I just wanted to ask both of you, being football fans, any unrealistic move you want to see, not unrealistic, rather a realistic move that has no rumors, you would want your favorite club to get one player that is not at all linked right now. He might be in contract for 10 years, but any move you would like something. And I hope all the fans do comment your moves that you want in the comment section, and the craziest one will be mentioned in the next video. So Vedant, any move for your club?
I don't know. Virgil van Dijk to Real Madrid to replace
That is something
Ramos.
not possible.
I
Exactly.
That
would
is
So
go
something
you
not.
for.
wanted a not possible move, right?
No, something
I would.
that
I
is
would. I would
possible,
go
but
for. We just have one
Kylian
minute
Mbappe.
left.
Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid.
Okay.
yeah,
I
that
would
is
go
something
for
possible.
probably Neymar or Kevin De Bruyne to Chelsea.
De Bruyne to Chelsea. With this, we should end the video here only. You know how much of a rivalry we have with that guy.
Anyways,
De
that's the
Bruyne.
video for today, guys. That's the
Yeah,
video for today, guys. We just have a minute left, so we're just concluding. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're posting daily. We mostly should be posting a video on Saturday, which is not so us, but we mostly would. So stay tuned for our next episode. Bye bye.